Hey everyone, and welcome to Empowered by Self-Love, the podcast. My name is Jessica Fuentes, and I am a certified professional coach. I will be here every Saturday talking about transformation. How to transform those difficulties you encounter throughout your life into lessons. How can you transform that victim mindset into one of opportunity and growth? If you want to transform your life, the key is to learn and realize that you have everything you need within yourself. If you are looking for a safe place to find inspiration, motivation, and the tools to become empowered, then this is the podcast to listen to. This podcast is brought to you by my website, Empowered-SelfLove.com. Thank you for joining me every Saturday, and I want to thank you all for listening every week. Thank you for your support and for making Empowered by Self-Love, the podcast, part of your Saturday routine. I am extremely thankful and grateful for your warm welcome. My hope is to bring you the tools that enriches your life and that helps you become more empowered. So thank you for sharing with your friends and family, and let's continue to spread the knowledge and the inspiration. In this episode, I will be talking about financial consistency, habits for long-term prosperity. Hey there, happy Saturday! I wish that you're feeling well, full of energy, and ready for today's episode. I welcome you to another episode of Empowered by Self-Love, the podcast. I am your host, Jessica Fuentes, and today I want to talk about the importance of our finances in our lives. The truth is that we can't live our lives focused on love and on having fun. We also need to think about our finances. Maybe some of you are on top of this, and that is awesome, but some others aren't as good as they could be in this area. If you recall, on my New Year's episode, I talked about resolutions and new goals. I also mentioned that you should divide your goals into sections, and one of the sections I mentioned was the one related to financials. So having your finances in order can affect your life positively, and it can bring not only financial stability but also mental peace. You can focus better on other things that are meaningful and important to you. So I didn't want to leave this topic outside of the topics that I get to discuss, because I have seen firsthand how stressful it is to be struggling financially. Wanting to achieve so many things and so many goals, and your finances are getting in your way. And this generates anxiety, stress, frustration, and the feeling of giving up. When you struggle financially, you feel trapped. I felt trapped at some point in my life. There was a time in my life in which I lived paycheck by paycheck, with no money left for entertainment or luxury or for anything. I didn't even have much credit available to use. I really struggled. Those were hard times, and I often felt fear. I felt the anxiety, the concern, the stress of not being able to provide for my children. All of these emotions can get in the way towards you accomplishing any other important thing in your life. But with discipline, I was able to gain control of my finances. And the first thing I did was to start following a very strict budget. And my salary eventually started to increase, so that helped. My focus was to pay debts And once I was debt free, I had that extra money that I was paying on debts to save for other things. And once I reached that point, my life started to change because I gained control of my finances. And what I learned was that the most valuable tool to have is a budget, and to follow it and to track it daily if it's necessary. Because with a budget, you can plan and things begin to align little by little, and you begin to live without the load of stress that the financial aches can generate. In case you don't know this about me, I worked as a financial analyst for 5 years, and my role was to help families and individuals to learn about their finances and how to take control of them. And today, I want to share with you 6 practical strategies that can lead you to gain control over your finances. At the end of the day, if you want to reach your goals, you also need to take control of your monetary part in that equation. So, the first step is to make an assessment of your financial situation. And how do you do this? Well, by having a clear budget. You have to have a monthly budget. Make things as easy as possible. Consider your net income and your expenses. There are recurrent expenses such as your mortgage or your rent, the utilities, the gas, the tolls, and the food that you consume every month. You also need to consider other variant expenses such as entertainment, clothing, stylist, maybe you want to go to the salon to fix your hair, dining out expenses, and there are also your debts, of course, if you have debts. And how much do you pay in debt every month is an important factor. Lastly, there are the optional expenses such as subscriptions or beauty treatments or traveling. When you know how much money you bring to the table versus how much money you spend every month, you can have a clear idea of where you stand financially. If what you bring home versus your expenses leaves you with a positive balance every month, then that's awesome. You are at a great place. Now, even though you have a positive balance every month on that budget sheet and you still struggle, then that means that you are not considering all of your expenses or that you're not prioritizing and you're overspending in areas that you shouldn't be spending on. The good thing is that both situations have a solution. You just need to be more disciplined and prioritize what is more important and what has more value to you. And the last scenario could be that your monthly budget ends up being negative every month because your income is too low compared to your expenses. That particular case can generate such an amount of stress that it could be difficult to see past the problem. For this scenario, the 2 solutions are to reduce your monthly expenses. Maybe you can move to a place in which you pay less for rent and look at which other expenses you can eliminate completely. Alternatively, the other solution is to generate extra income. Fortunately, there are solutions to this problem, but these solutions require working more and harder. Perhaps you can do Uber part-time, or work as a waiter at a restaurant, or deliver food. You can even find a part-time job online. Luckily, these days, there are multiple resources available for you to generate extra money. And the idea is not for you to burn out working and working, but to find ways to generate the extra income that you need as a temporary resource for you to put your finances in order and gain control of them. When you get to work hard to reach a goal and you get to reach it, The feeling of accomplishment is priceless. So, after having a clear budget, the second step is to have a clear vision of what you want for your life. And what do I mean by this? Well, ask yourself, what goals are your priority? Which of those goals require monetary planning? Which of those goals you want to achieve first? And make a list of all of your goals and put them in order of priority. Because having goals and having a clear vision generates motivation. Now, the third step is to work towards reaching those financial goals. And how do you do that? Well, you need to plan. You make plans to save the extra money for you to reach those goals. When you have a goal and when you create a plan to reach that goal, you have a roadmap in front of you, and that shows that it is doable. You can see in your planning that your goals are possible. You can even set a deadline for your financial goals. The important thing is that you have a clear idea of what you want and that you create a financial plan to make it happen. The fourth step is to reduce or eliminate debt. Make a debt elimination plan. In my experience, I taught my clients that the first debts to pay off are the ones that are the smaller ones and also the ones with the higher interest rates. The goal is to reduce debt and even become debt free, but also to pay less amount of interests. Now, the fifth step is to learn to invest. Invest in things that are of value to you. This can mean investing in real estate or in your education or in your retirement in a 401k plan, for example. Decide what is important to you right now and begin to invest in your future. Another very important thing is to invest in an emergency fund. We all have all those unforeseen expenses that come out of the blue, and having an emergency fund releases you from the stress those events generate. And lastly, the sixth step is to protect yourself. When you have debts, when you have a mortgage, and when you have young children, the best you can do is to get yourself a life insurance. That way you can protect your family's finances in case you pass away earlier than expected. If you are the main provider for your family, this is a very important step to consider, especially if you're struggling financially, because if you pass away, you will leave your family in a precarious financial situation, and I am sure you don't want that. It's not about making anybody rich. It's about providing them stability even if you are gone. There are many options out there, but you really don't need a life insurance for the rest of your life. Only while you have a big financial responsibility, because as time passes by, you will get to pay off your mortgage, and then your children will grow and they will live and have independent lives as adults. So you really won't need a life insurance by then. Obviously, that is, if you plan and if you take control of your finances now. Now, let me share with you the story of Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey built a real estate portfolio that was worth over $4 million. However, due to his poor financial management and the accumulation of debt, he lost everything and then he went bankrupt. So his journey to financial independence began after his bankruptcy. Dave took an honest look at his finances and he learned from his past mistakes. He acknowledged the need for financial literacy and strict budgeting. He also worked on a clear vision and specific goals. He set clear, achievable goals that were focusing on rebuilding his financial stability, staying debt-free, and eventually he ended up helping others avoid making the similar mistakes that he made. With his renewed focus, Dave started living below his means, saving aggressively, and avoiding debt. He emphasized that budgeting was the foundation and the most important thing in gaining control on anybody's finances. Then Dave formulated a debt snowball method where he paid off the smallest debts first to gain momentum and motivation. And then this approach helped him systematically eliminate debts. And once he was debt free, Dave focused on investing for the future by contributing to retirement accounts and by diversifying his investments. He advocated for investing in mutual funds and in real estates. Dave also ensured that he had the adequate insurance coverage, and he established an emergency fund to protect against future setbacks. So, Dave Ramsey's experience profoundly shaped his career. He became a personal finance expert, an author, and a radio show host. He released the book called The Total Money Makeover, and he guided countless of people towards financial freedom, emphasizing debt elimination, savings, and investing. So what is the key takeaway from Dave Ramsey's story? His story is a testament to the power of financial discipline and strategic planning. Through his own challenges, he developed practical solutions that have empowered millions to take control of their finances. So there you have it, in a nutshell. I tried to make it as easy and as simple as possible. The main purpose of today's episode is that you give your finances the importance they deserve in your life so that you can lead a life focused on prosperity and free from the tension that lacking financial control can generate on yourself. I encourage you to make an assessment of your finances and begin to follow a budget. Include everything in your budget. Be realistic, be honest, and then begin to prioritize. If you want to be able to travel, for example, and you haven't done so because you are financially deprived, then use that as your motivator. Your life can be transformed in a very positive way once you follow these 6 steps I shared with you today. And this not only can affect your life positively and financially, but you will be able to remove any emotional burden from yourself that this financial situation generates. So, as I wrap up today's episode, remember that financial control isn't just about numbers. It's about securing your peace of mind. It's about enhancing your life's quality and paving a path towards your goals. By taking small but very consistent steps, you can create a financial future that supports your dreams. So I encourage you to start with just one of the strategies we discussed today and see the difference it can make. There is a quote from Robert Kiyosaki, and it says, "Financial freedom is available to those who learn about it and work for it." So stay committed to your journey, even if it feels scary and overwhelming at times. The rewards are worth it. If you feel that this is a message you connected with, I am very glad and happy that this will be the beginning of an extraordinary journey of transformation and empowerment for you. So remember that we have a date every Saturday. You can't miss the next episode in which I will be talking about genuine joy versus fake positivity, knowing the difference. Thank you for listening to today's episode, and I hope that you enjoyed it and that it brought some perspective as well as hope. If there is any particular topic you would like me to discuss, or if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me via email at jessica.fuentes@empowered-selflove.com. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find me there as Empowered-selflove. I also encourage you to visit my webpage, Empowered-selflove.com, and explore more about what coaching is all about. In the Services tab, you can sign in for the free discovery session. During the discovery session, I will explain everything you need to know about coaching, the type of coaching I specialize in, and the packages I have available for you. You can find all the links on the episode's notes. Remember, if you like this content or thought of somebody that could benefit from it, please share it with your friends and family. Remember that we have a date every Saturday, and I can't wait for us to meet again. See you next week!